Welcome back, Court Lords fans.
Welcome back!
Welcome back! We are here to do another movie review for you, and this one is called...
For your pleasure!
Sisu! If you're wondering what we're doing, we were like telling these funny Nazi jokes before we were filming, doing our worst German accents, but...
I know nothing!
I know nothing! But we are here to do a movie review, and man, I'm excited about this one. This one gained a lot of buzz when it came out. Considering that it's pretty much a foreign film, even though it's filmed in English.
Right.
But Finnish writer, Finnish cast, set in Finland, from the producers of John Wick.
Right.
And kind of a little John Wick-esque kind of feel to it, but...
subtle.
Yeah, so very, very excited to review this one. If you are new to the channel, we want to say thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe. We put out a movie review every Monday, typically, unless we're on PTO, which just happened this week.
Fighting baddies.
Yes. And then we put out a trailer reaction every other day. So you get lots of content if you simply subscribe to the Cult Lords.
And sprinkle in a few other things, right?
Yes.
Like music, interviews,
comic books,
collectibles,
unboxings. I don't know why we're doing this, but...
Sprinkling,
okay. Sprinkling in...
Magic pixie dust.
A little smather of other stuff. So yeah, you get all that if you hit subscribe. And then like, and then tell us in the comments... What did you think of the movie Sisu?
Yeah. Hey, and everybody, we want your feedback. We always want to get better. So if you got suggestions on how we can tweak things a bit, we're all ears.
Sure.
Because ultimately, we want the subscribers.
Of course, we need the subscribers.
So let us know.
Trying to get to 1,000. And where are we at now? Just take a look.
Direct them to the complaint department right here.
Yes. So, once again, we thank you for coming in. Now, before we start this, Dane, we always like to start our reviews off with a drink.
Yes.
What are we drinking this week?
For the main character of this fine movie, he was a rare breed in so many different ways. Hot and spicy, but had a lot of flavor.
Yes.
So I picked this Wild Turkey. 116 barrel proof.
Yes.
Straight off the barrel's teat.
Okay.
All right.
It's
got a lot of potency. I'll put a little bit more to top you off there. We've already been enjoying it. But good sippable beverage. I mean, definitely I think is good with ice. Right?
Yeah,
it helps it a lot. You got to open up the flavors a little bit more. But Wild Turkey, been around for a long time. I can't really say too much about it, but it's tasty. Mm-hmm. You can see how dark that baby is. Mm. So
it's good.
Highly recommend.
Good. All right, so now that we got our drink settled,
especially when you're out prospecting for gold.
Yes, always prospecting for gold. Always be prospecting.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have not seen Sisu yet, let me give you a little bit of warning. Spoiler warnings! Yes! Watch out for that. So, we're going to go into heavy spoilers. We're going to talk about everything that happened in this movie. And if you haven't seen this yet, you definitely need to hit the pause button. Go check it out wherever it is on streaming. Maybe go buy the Blu-ray now. Do whatever you want to do. But see the movie, come back, join us here, and see what we think about the movie.
And in case you're wondering about who was yelling in that spoiler alert, I'll give you a hint, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's all I'll say. See if they can figure it out. See if somebody points it out.
Yes. All right. Well, before we get to the Cult Lord scores and talk about the movie, we always like to get a feel of what did the general public think about this movie? What did the zeitgeist feel about it? So
unwashed masses.
We do the Rotten Tomatoes scores. So Dane, have you stayed away from the Rotten Tomatoes scores?
Yes, I had to look up there until I could see the watch button and then finally press it. So I could not see it. So, because it puts it everywhere.
So take a guess at what the
Critics gave this?
Critics gave this.
For this movie, I think they're going to be very close, because I think the critics are going to appreciate, how this was done, and then the audience also sees it at a different level. So, I mean, I'm going to say critics 86 and go ahead. 86 and audience 89.
86 and 89.
Yeah, I think they're very close.
Actually,
so
they
tell
are.
me how right I am.
They are pretty close, Dane, but you got it in the reverse order as far as who liked it more. You see, the critics gave it a 94%. Wow. 94% from the critics, whereas the audience gave it an 88%.
Okay, well, so I was close with the
6% off.
Yeah.
But the critics liked it more than the audience did. And I could see that because I could see where this would be. The critics would find this fresh and,
there was some very subtle things.
A lot of subtle things, a lot of merits for this. Yeah. Whereas,
the audience is just there for the blood and gore, for the head blowing up from the bomb, right?
The young couple out of Arkansas who didn't know what this was and watched it and said, "What is this?"
Is it a movie about the Amish?
Yes.
Sisu.
Sisu. I don't know. So we got a piggy named Sisu, and I don't know.
Sisu.
Yeah.
Sui.
Yeah. So, well, that's what the Rotten Tomatoes scores gave it. But let's talk about, more importantly, what the Cult Lords gave this.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had our shipment come in today. Brinks Armor truck pulled up.
Yep.
From our accounting firm, Deloitte & Douche. Larry was on that truck, hand delivered.
I still wonder, because you've challenged people to look up Deloitte & Douche.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone comment yet.
Yeah. There are people out there that probably get that, but all right. So we got our Cult Lord score. Yeah. So let's.
Larry, hand delivered. Larry, did you get yourself a drink over there?
Yes.
Okay.
Always in his leisure suit. So, all right. Let us reveal the Cult Lord scores.
All right.
On the count of 3. 1, 2. Are you gonna do it in German?
I was doing it. I don't know what it is. What's 3? It's ein. Dois Trice? I don't know.
It sounds more like French.
Ein Dois Trice.
All right. 1, 2, 3. My will is more powerful than your tank.
Now, I ain't saying he's a gold digger. 8-4 and 9-0.
8-4 and 9-0.
So we're kind of critic audience.
Yes. Yeah.
So, cool. Man, that tank. How many times have I had to put that down?
All right. Well, so we both liked it.
Yes.
We both liked it. It was when I told you we're going to watch this, you didn't know anything about this movie. You're like, what is that?
Well, when you said it, and then when I saw that, because we had seen a trailer somewhere, right?
Trailer, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, so I remember, but we never reviewed, we didn't react to that trailer, right? I think we saw it in the movie theater or something like that, and
I don't know if
like,
we reacted
that looks
to that
cool
trailer or not.
I don't think we did, because I don't think we would have talked about it, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice rare breed event.
So if you are wondering, this is from a Finnish writer with a lot of Finnish actors, and
show the back here a little bit.
But it is filmed in English, so if you haven't seen it for some reason, you stayed past spoiler warning. It is in English, so you don't have to worry about that.
I think there was some subtitles, right? Once in a
there
while.
There was on an occasion, yeah, but I think it was all filmed in. Both the main character and his name. I want to make sure I get this correctly.
Well, the Immortal, but what was his real name?
Tommy.
Tommy, yeah, but let's just call him the Immortal. That's kind of what everyone was affectionately calling him. He's known as the Immortal.
Yes.
But the funny, did you watch any of the featurettes?
No.
So they interviewed him and a bunch of other people, and he can't speak English. So that's one of the reasons why he had very few lines in this movie, which I thought actually worked. Right. It was kind of like Arnold in Predator. Yes. Not a lot of lines, and it kind of fit the character properly. I mean, that actor was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
I
think he needs a manicure though. Definitely needs a manicure. Did you see how dirty those hands are?
His claws were. He needs a lot, little trim off the top too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they said it was funny because the writer and one of those rare times where the writer and the director actually worked together. You know, I mean, it's the same guy. And it worked as a movie. Mm-hmm. But the actor who plays the Immortal, what's his actual name? Jorma Tamila. They said when he's on camera, he is like that brutal character, and then as soon as the camera stopped, he's over like playing bongos and like full outfit, you know.
Oh, I can probably see that.
He's a very like funny act guy on the side.
I looked up his credits on IMDb just to see, do I know him in anything? Mm-hmm. All finished movies, right? Yeah. Didn't know him in anything. And then I looked up the writer-director. Once again, directed all finished movies, but has had this guy in some of his movies before.
Oh, so he knew him?
Yeah, so he knew him and obviously working with him.
I mean, would you agree there's definitely a Pulp Fiction element to this movie? I mean, with the chapter headings and all that. I mean, I kind of felt like, he's paying homage because every major touch point, there was a chapter heading.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that's a homage to Pulp Fiction because that was done many times before Pulp Fiction. But
continuation.
He's definitely going for a style there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you actually watch all of the old Cult Lords videos, the ones that are like an hour and a half, it's because we did 3 chapter reviews of things, and we would always have chapter headings, and maybe go back and check out something like a Jungle Cruise. Or
Wolf of Snow Hollow,
or
the very first one,
or the Green Knight, or something like that.
The Christmas one.
The Christmas one.
Was that Batman? I think we did it in Batman too.
I don't know. I don't remember, but the Christmas one was cool because our cards going, between chapters, we put in a lot of time to find those pictures and make those chapter marks.
Broke a lot of copyright law.
But we used to do chapter marks like all throughout our show. We don't do that anymore, but go check it out sometime.
Yeah.
Because we want to shorten it down.
Yeah.
But so we start off where you see he's mining for gold, but you understand that the Nazis have invaded Finland, and now that it's towards the end of the war, they're like pulling out. But they're
scorched earth,
everything as they leave.
Right.
Burning cities, burning everything, anything you can find there.
And as we find out, taking a lot of ladies for the
ladies,
long trip home that they can be abused.
Yeah,
among other things.
Killing men and letting God sort them out. So.
But you do find that the immortal guy, he's out in that very desolate wilderness, or no, it's almost like weird because it's feeling like the frozen tundra.
It's
no
like
trees,
frozen tundra.
No trees or anything. They said they filmed it in the farthest most, as you almost can get to Antarctica up there, where they were. Yeah. So it was very windy and cold and all that. But I didn't think that in the movie you didn't get a sense of that. I thought it was just But he's out there digging, he's prospecting, finds his gold, and then it's like. You get a sense that he's got some back trauma, right?
Right.
And then
and he does. I think you learn that he was a soldier.
Yeah.
In the war, but
with Russia.
Yes.
The Russian war. So I don't know. I guess that might have been.
I think his family was killed, right?
Yeah, his wife and his son was killed. Because he had some traumatic PST thing going on. PTSD thing going on.
Yeah.
And that came up once in a while.
Yeah.
And but he had a nice horse, and he had his faithful doggy.
What kind of breed of dog was that? That was a very woolly...
I think it was it was a very weird dog. I mean, it looked to me like a Portuguese water dog.
Because I've never...
full fur and a rounded head and everything.
I'm sure it's some sort of sheepdog kind of thing because I've never seen that type of dog in the United States. It must be some sort of European kind of rare breed.
Yeah. And I agree
Rare
with
breed!
Rare breed! My God, it works at multiple levels.
Yes.
We'll just put a quick pic photo up with what it is, because we can research that in post.
Yeah, we don't know what it
is. But the dog was cute. It's kind of like Daryl Dixon with his dog. Because he never named the dog, right? He just was whistled at it. I love the way
he called it dog.
You just called no, Daryl did, but did this guy?
Oh, this
the
guy.
The immortal guy? I wasn't sure if he were, because a couple of times it's like, that is the most well-trained dog ever. He'd wee! Or he'd point, and the dog would go that way.
Or he'd whisper in his ear.
Go get that.
And then the dog goes that way, and they're like...
It's like, this is the smartest dog ever. But man,
Scooby-Doo? Scooby-Doo.
And to your point about John Wick,
yeah,
totally a John Wick call.
Of course.
I mean, you
totally
get the dog because the whole time I'm like, those Nazis better not kill that dog.
Yes, yes. So, after he strikes gold, he's like 400 or 500 miles away from the nearest city. So he gets on his horse, has his dog, and
so starts trundling back to
civilization.
And who does he run into?
The Nazis!
The Nazis. Who
Always.
At first they're like, let him go. You know, he's going to his death.
Yeah, there's nowhere for him to go up there. He'll die up there, right? So.
Well, I wasn't sure if that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Because they run into the Nazis. They have the tank and all the big gunners. And then they're like, just let him go. Because the sharpshooper guy was going to take him out. And he's like, he's going to his death. But I thought, does he mean yes? He's going to, where is he going to go? There's nothing else. Or he knew the next car was going to be the brutal guys.
No, I don't think he thought the next car.
Okay.
Because, after, this is a little bit going forward, but after he sees, the car with the brutal guys, and he finally gets to the town is just completely on fire. Remember the city? And
and never mind all the guys hanging on the telephone poles.
Yeah.
All strung up.
He just knew.
These guys had a hell of a lot of rope, by the way.
Yeah. They knew that he wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Or gonna amount to anything.
So
but he goes a little bit further, then it's kind of like the tail end of that Nazi brigade.
Yeah, because I think they were fixing a tire.
Yeah,
right?
they were fixing a tire.
They probably had the fuel for the tank or something, because they had some. And those guys are, of course, where are you going, silly man?
Where you think you're going, old man? There's nothing down there.
They stop him and they start like, oh, what's in your bag?
This man's a gold digger. He's not messing with any broke person. So, they
give him a hard time.
Give him a hard time. Find his gold.
And then what does he do?
Yeah.
Grabs his knife.
Yep.
Knuckles.
Describe it.
Knuckles twist around it while the guy's got his submachine pointed to the gun of his head. He's like, look at this silly man. We are going to get his gold.
This girly man.
This girly man. Where is his gold? And then all of a sudden.
We got gold. Thank you, old
Yeah.
With the knife.
Yeah.
Straight through the... can you do that actually? I guess if it's sharp enough, you could pierce the skull, right? But that was
he was going through the temples, and he went like that.
Yeah, so...
the skull, I always...
tell us.
The skull is much harder than people think.
Oh, yes.
I always laugh, in The Walking Dead, when they, we'll take care of the zombies, and they just casually put a knife through the skull.
Slide it through like it's like cheese
or
butter.
Yeah.
It's like butter!
Did you see her legs? They're like butter. Like two sticks of butter lashed together in a rough-hewn manner.
Yeah. I don't think it would be that easy to put a knife through a skull. You can definitely do it, but it takes a little bit more force. Yeah. But he did put the force into it.
I agree with it. It looked realistic. And that guy was like, what?
Yeah.
And then he was, and the funny thing about that is that was your first real viewing of his powers. Right. And I'm saying powers instead of skills, experience. Because that was it. Once that happened, he just went and took out every guy, used every motion. He used one guy to just absorb all the bullets. Yeah. The other guy slam with a helmet.
And of course, what happens is he takes out everybody in that little group. But the group that was ahead of him, they hear all this gunfire, and they're like, we must turn around and go see what happened there, right? So the immortal guy,
he just keeps going.
He keeps going.
Pardon me.
But he goes into a minefield. Which is amazing, because what happens is when the Germans come up to it, they know the minefield's there, and then the guy, the commander guy, looks at the other guy and he goes, "How many mines are out there?" And he goes, "A lot. We put a lot out there." Yeah. So he picks two guys to try to follow this guy.
Except you're missing. How did the immortal find out he was in a minefield? The horse is in complete pieces everywhere, and he's slightly knocked out, or probably had a concussion. There's blood and brains and skeleton, and then unfortunately his faithful horse, he goes up and he kind of faints on the horse.
So there's a lot of parts that when you get to the parts in the movie, you're like, oh, okay, this is where I need to suspend belief in physics and how things work. That's one of them. The horse stepping, but he survives it
because it was enough of a blast zone. I mean, the horse protected him, but I agree. Yeah.
But the part that really set it off. And then that's when you see the mine come flying out. And then that's when I'm like, right. Like, so he would see a mine on the ground, be able to pick that mine up, and throw the mine.
We're talking somewhat low-end tech here. This is World War II. I mean, a mine now has all this gyroscope subtlety. In those days, it was like if you press it, and then it will go. As long as he doesn't press it and throws and hits the guy in the head.
Right.
I mean, hey, it was dramatically awesome.
Yeah, it was. So he gets away. The Nazis chase him to like through a little like river or like lake that he gets through.
Yeah, this is more the unrealistic stuff.
Yeah, so like people are like on a boat and he's like taking them down, and then you see it like blood come up.
Well, and it's like, how is he staying underwater for like 15 minutes? Because he's like cutting their jugular and then sucking their air.
Yes, I was like, what? When
I was like, is that possible?
You can suck the air out of a guy's like jugular vein or something like that.
He's like breaking their esophagus so low that the lungs are exhuming.
And he's like
pulling them down. I'm like, wow, if that guy's that good, I've never seen that one on film before.
That was a new one. That was funny.
And then he gets to the other side. I mean, we're going into a lot of detail. Yeah, but he gets to the other side, and then the guy takes like the tank Gatling gun and like starts shooting it. I'm like, I don't think a body could absorb one bullet.
Right.
I mean, so there was definitely some stuff in there that you're like,
so
all right.
He finally kind of gets away. That's when you see at night the city engulfed in flames. But he kind of makes his way to the outskirts of town where there's a little gas station. And he's going to go to sleep there.
Well, yeah, because he's so freaking tired.
He's so tired. He would be.
And his dog, by the way, is rescued. Remember, his dog is not rescued, but he sent it off. So the Nazis are like, bam, 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 bam. And then, of course, dog's too smart. Never gets him. So then the dog all of a sudden runs up when he's at the lake. But go ahead.
Yeah, and is being used as a, bait to like bring him out.
I felt so sorry for that dog. The dog runs up to him and he's like, oh, and then there's a giant thing of dynamite strapped to the dog on fire. I'm like, you better not blow that dog up.
Well, the dog survives this.
Yeah.
But what's so funny is after he kind of takes those guys out, then a plane comes in, and the plane wants gasoline, so they're out looking for gasoline.
2 German pilots jump out looking around.
Well, what happened was we skipped the part where they hang them, right?
Yes. Another thing, you're like, what? Can you survive a hanging like that?
Well, you can. Remember Outlaw Josey Wales? He had the rope burns on his neck. He survived a hanging.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's just because it broke. Well, anyways. Yeah.
If it doesn't snap your neck, like when you fall, you can survive for a while.
Okay.
A while.
And then he propped himself up on the nail with.
That was so gross.
So gross. I know.
Oh, that was so gross. He propped him up with a wound on the nail.
I was gonna say when I saw this, I'm like, I bet JR is loving this movie.
No, I was not. I was like,
it was nonstop blood and torn skin, and ripped up innards, and horses' entrails.
There was times where he was like stitching himself up, and you can just see
making his own.
He's just done this.
Well,
many
and then
times.
one pilot's watching him, like, who is this guy? You know?
Yeah. So, but he survives the hanging, and that's when the plane comes in. He kills
both of them. Well, he ends up taking one with him to fly him, and then because he's going after the tanks.
This is where, once again, it gets unbelievable. Unbelievable. So he does take him to go find the tanks. Leaves his dog behind. We got to mention that. Leaves his dog behind. Okay. Flies halfway, I don't know how long, hundreds of
miles.
No, I think it's hundreds
You
of
think
miles.
they were that far ahead?
I think so.
He was hanged, and then it was still light, and then it was dark, right?
I would say at least 100 miles. At least 100 miles.
Okay. I don't think they had that kind of engine power, but remember, they had a tank. Could a tank go 100 miles in like 6 hours?
And I would almost say it was 8 hours, but yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, either way, it's over 50 miles.
Yeah.
So he takes the plane like ahead of the tank brigade, and then that's where he and the German fighter or the pilot get into a fight, right? And then he ends up having to kill him. Like they're fighting, aren't they?
No, that's later. Remember, there's two planes. He crash lands the smaller plane.
Yeah.
And then he blocks all the Germans that are coming through with the tank and everything.
Yeah.
And so then they open up the cockpit and they're like, "There's a German pilot in here, and he's been shot in the head."
Yeah.
So then they're like, "Oh crap, where is he?" And then that's when they all of a sudden realize, and then he, and so we glossed over the part where the Germans have been hauling these like Finnish women with them the whole time, and I thought that was the beauty of this movie is that they really revealed backstory on that guy very subtly. Like the women told the Germans, like,
about him.
"Ha ha ha! Get ready, you're gonna die."
Yeah.
He's like, "What are you smiling at, wench?"
Do you assholes really think you have succeeded where hundreds of Russians have died trying?
Because they know the legend about this guy, the immortal.
Yeah, so you get a lot of backstory just from other people talking about
That's
it.
when they talk about his like wife and his kid being murdered.
And then the Russians, he killed 300 Russians,
yeah.
Even though they had sent like death squads and all this stuff. And so he's got this the immortal moniker.
Because he just continues to survive.
Yeah, and they're like,
in fact,
is he really?
No. He just survived you hanging him. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, he takes those people out and then arms the women. Like, you remember he armed the women?
He gave them all the submachine guns. And
right.
And that was great because it kind of changed a little bit of the tone because then she drives up to him and waves at the other German and then they all flip up and they're like, kill every single German in the back of the other car, the other truck. But, the guy that is the sharpshooter, because we should mention there's like a little bit of a team going on there. There was the German SS commander, the sharpshooter bastard, the hairy guy, with his shirt off half the movie, and then the guy that drove the tank.
Yes.
And remember that subtleness when he gets hanged, the guy takes his hat off, and and then he's like, "Oh crap, I guess I got to take it off too."
Yeah.
He basically shames the commander into taking his hat off because they're like, "This guy was a worthy opponent. You're hanging him.
Yeah.
You better honor this."
So when it ends up just being the SS commander and the tank driver getting to another plane. You're right. I was confusing the plane crashes because there's another one coming.
Yes.
But the commander just shoots the tank driver dead.
Right.
They get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and I thought that was great. It's a great send-off because I thought that guy was so despicable. It was like, all right, he's going to set up, he's going to pay a guy to fly him out of here because they're all desperate. I mean, and then he's just going to kill everybody, so he's the only one on the plane, and I guess, I don't know, gets to keep the gold or whatever, although at this point, do they have the gold? I think they did take the gold, because they hung him, and then he's going back to get it. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I thought that was a really cool, well-done scene, and did you think he was going to shoot the tank guy? I mean...
It didn't surprise me that he did.
Okay. The featurette, by the way, if you guys ever get a chance to watch that, they talked, the writer said that tank guy, the reason he kind of seemed a little young is because there was a previous guy there, and so this was like his first, he was new on the job, and so he was kind of reacting differently than the rest of these, seasoned guys were.
Okay.
And so
then they take off in this plane. Mm-hmm. And once again, the immortal...
No, he's not in it yet.
He's not in it?
No. Remember, he races down the runway when those two are running, and he starts shooting at him in the sidecar. Yeah. And then he uses the pick.
He uses the pick to get on board. Yeah. Basically, he ends up getting on board. Yeah. But this plane crash, when they crash, it's straight down where you're thinking, how can there be a survivor?
I know. He just straps in and goes backwards. they made it totally look like it's marshland, but that plane was completely disintegrated.
Yeah.
Thus, he should be disintegrated.
Right.
I mean, they didn't like leave any shards. It was like literally completely atomized.
Yet he
Like-
crawls out of the ash.
Oh, But yeah, I'm like, come on. I mean, I guess were they implying that maybe he really was supernatural in some way, or maybe
immortal?
Like, he had a little divinity, like somebody gave him a little extra there, like, all right, you need to keep going because you're doing a good job or something.
But this is basically the end of the movie,
well,
because he gets on a motorcycle, he gets his gold, right? And he drives to like a town to go cash this in. Somehow he has his dog with him. Did you notice that at the end?
In the sidecar?
Yeah.
The motorcycle? Yeah.
So, like, he's taken 2 airplane flights away from this, and somehow he has his dog with him.
Well, I guess we don't know what the time is. He could have went back and got it.
Do you think so? You think he would have gone all the way back?
Yes, I think he would have gotten back. I mean, just because that dog was so loyal to him and everything, and it was his only friend. Mm-hmm. So I think he went back and got it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to your point, it was like, from a timeline, it looked like he had the dog with him the whole time, and that obviously was not true. And they flew. Yeah. I mean, they were like over a mountain range at one point. So for him to go all the way back, get the dog, and then come all the way back to go cash his gold in.
Or maybe the dog just followed him.
I don't know. Maybe the dog had radar. But I will say, the one thing I did not like, after all the despicable nature of that Nazi commander, I was not happy that after he did that masterful fighting in the airplane and then hooked him to the, ironically, Russian bomb.
Yeah.
And then dropped him out with the bomb, the guy still turned around and flipped him off on the way down. And I was like, come on, what is he, like Alicia Silverstone? I mean, it's like the Aerosmith video when she does that. I was like, I want my villain to be completely vanquished. I want no defiance there. I mean, the guy should have been like, Wah! Like, I was not happy about that.
Okay. I can overlook that. But
you can look over it like that. But, I mean, it happened very quickly, and it was more like, well, but to your point, when that bomb hit and blew up, you're like, that guy's been killed. When the plane hit, it looked just like the bomb. And somehow he survived.
That's what I'm saying. It was just almost unrealistic.
And, is he like the berserker?
I don't know.
Berserker up here, by the way, over there. Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
But,
so it ends. He ends up in a bank. And he's there to cash in on
his shiny gold. And the lady's like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, I need the big bills. It's easier to carry.
Yes. And that's the end of the movie. But it was a crazy journey. I was never bored.
No.
Were you? I was into every scene and what was going on. And, the action was ridiculously over the top, but it was fun. Right? And I think that's why the critics like it, right?
And going back to the whole John Wick thing. John Wick was, that whole entire sequence was notorious for a lot of quick action and shooting and all that, but not that much blood blatantly on the screen. This kind of went the other way with it and said, you know what? We're going to have this like ballet-based, balletic, I don't know what you call it, action and the way he moves around and figures things out, and then we're gonna do full on like in your face blood and guts.
We're talking limbs flying,
blood
foot
flying,
and all kinds of stuff,
and then him doing all the medical stuff to hook up his wounds, and then him
hanging himself on a nail on a wound. It was brutal blood and violence. So if you can't take that, definitely.
But man, did you root for him?
Of course.
I mean, it was like they really the writing did a great job, and
you're right.
The director,
he has very, very few lines in this, right?
Yeah.
He does say some things.
I think to the women, right?
Right. He says something, and I think he says some things to the men, but it's like very, are you a gold digger?
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger.
Something kind of thing.
No.
Yeah, whatever.
Very subtle stuff.
Yeah, very subtle stuff. And then at the end when he's asking to cash in the gold. But
he probably had to practice that line.
Yeah.
He's like, I want all big bills.
Yes. But it was really good, and so that's why I gave it the rating I did. 8.4.
It was a 9.0. I went higher than you.
You did, yeah.
What took you down into the B range?
The B range. I would have liked to have heard him a little bit more and maybe a little bit more character development. I would, the over the top action is ridiculous, but it was okay. But the plane wreck, that's just too much. That's just too much.
It was almost like at that point, so to your point, when the bomb went down and the guy was like, blah, 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 that was when all of a sudden the tone changed and suddenly became almost like, this is like, he's obviously immortal. Or like it was all super serious and gritty and everything up front. There wasn't a lot of humor. And all of a sudden it was like humorous and then ridiculous with, I gotta suspend my disbelief that this guy somehow survives a 500-foot drop in an airplane just by strapping himself in backwards.
He's unbreakable, like Bruce Willis.
Yes.
So
I think they should have done a better job with that, but I'm sure they were like, let's just.
So there was things that I thought, they could have done a better job with that.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it and it was fun, and I recommend it to people if you have not seen it.
Cult Lord's rating, thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. When are we gonna start?
I don't know, but I tell you what. Cult Lords viewers, I'd like to hear what you think. Did you like this movie? Did you like it as much as the Cult Lords or more than the Cult Lords? We just heard about one of our comic book guys. He loved it so much. What did he do?
Rick. Thank you, Rick, for watching us. He was like, I'm going to organize. When he saw that trailer, he said, I got to go see this with all my buddies. He organized it, got them together, and they all went out and saw it. And
at the theater.
At the theater.
Yeah, he made it happen.
After
he saw it, he loved it so much, he's like, I gotta watch it again, but I'm bringing tons of folks with me.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
For everything you do for us.
Yeah. Graham Crackers Comics. Well, one of the locations that we go to. The Wheaton location.
The Wheaton location.
Yeah. So, but he's always cool. I like his taste in music. He's got the heavy metal out there. I'll be like, Dana, I think this is Iced Earth.
It's almost like jazz heavy metal. It's like in the background, it's like, but it's like subtly playing. Yeah. Like here as I peruse my comic book, it's like, oh, this Richie Rich is really nice. Wendy the Witch.
Yeah. So tell us what you think, Cult Lords fans. And once again, if you have not subscribed, go and hit subscribe, please. And then tell us in the comments what you thought of this movie after you hit the like button. And I'm interested to read what people have to say about this and if you liked it or not. And if you didn't like it, I'd like to hear your critique of it. And I don't judge people. Some movies are for some folks and some are not. I couldn't believe we both liked The Covenant, and we got people in the comments saying they didn't like The Covenant, right? And I was like, wow, okay. But...
interesting.
It's interesting, so...
Yeah, well, in this one in particular, I'm thinking this is going to be a cult favorite.
I think so.
This movie, right? We got Mandy in there.
Do you think there'll be a Sisu 2?
I left it open for that.
I hope not.
I don't know how they would...
Not.
They'd have to leave it as extremely subtle for Sisu 2. Yeah. It would be like John Wick. Like, all of them were kind of, really good at an equal par, like you had said.
They'll call it Sisu and the Dial of Destiny.
Sisu and Seesaw.
And 50 years later, he'll be talking about his Nazi killing days. And then they're like, oh, we gotta go back! Immortal! We gotta go back! And he's like, oh, okay.
It would be interesting if they actually went full on like he really is imbued with some kind of immortal.
Like the Highlander or something?
Yes, like he's got a Highlander sense here, but I thought they did it. Unfortunately, the whole airplane thing did change the tone.
Yes.
I think they did a good job of not making that. It was his will. Yeah. I will survive.
All right, well, once again, tell us what you think, Cult Lords fans. Can't wait to read your comments. And Dane.
Yes.
How do you get us out of here?
As you're wretched up and you're hanging from your thing and you hold yourself in with your nail protruding
Hanging
leg.
from your thing.
Hanging from your thing.
You're holding yourself up with
I need to wish the world peace out.